Esports Overwatch 2, Game 3 of the season for us. Tonight we are against Ferris State Gold, who has a record of 2-1. We are 2-0. I did hear earlier we did in fact win the coin toss once again. And just looking at who we have playing, it looks like we're going to have a good first game here. We do have Hot Pocket, Hoodnut, Goofy, Crimgo, and Shadow starting us off tonight. And if you are not aware, yesterday was update day. Yesterday was new season, season 13. And God, the patch notes. If you are a tank player, if you're just a tank player in general, you're kind of crying. If you're a Sombra player, you're crying, but you deserve to because you play Sombra. There are some brutal changes in here, and I'm just gonna kind of go over like the ones that really stood out to me. First of all, if you play Ramattra, I am sorry if you play Ramattra. Let me get this right. Ramattra Pummel no longer goes through barriers. It just doesn't. I don't know why. It does 2.5 times damage to them. And speaking of barriers, Reinhardt's shield got dropped 100 health. It went from 1600 down to 1500. Not really sure why they decided to drop it 100 health, especially if they were going to allow Ramattra to no longer punch through, but just deal 2.5 times damage to that. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. They should have increased it if that's going to be the case, especially when it is a one tank game. Mauga, his ignite damage lasts for 4 seconds now, up an extra second from 3, so it's not a super major change there. You just burn 1 second longer, but if you have Suzu, if you have Cleanse, you're going to be fine. Don't worry about it. If you have Hog and use Take a Breather or May Ice Block, like Mauga Ignite isn't really going to do much for you, or do much against you there. Sojourn got quite a few changes. For Railgun, her primary gun, energy no longer stops degenerating at 25 energy, and the time before energy degeneration begins has been increased from 7 seconds to 12 seconds. Looks like we're going to get a team huddle right now. Yeah. Disruptor, 60 damage up to 80, and now generates 25% of damage done to enemies as Railgun energy. So however much damage is done, a core of that will be the energy that you generate. And then Sombra basically got another rework. I saw this. One of my friends was freaking out. They play Zenyatta. I don't know why they're complaining about a Sombra nerf, especially when it's like this. They confused me in a lot of ways. I don't know why they were complaining about this specifically when they made Ramattra for tank as well, and they were fine with that. Sombra's hack no longer ends stealth, but it does reveal her. Hacked ability lockout effect. So if you're hacked, you can't use your abilities. The lockout effect has been reduced from 1.5 down to 1 seconds. The EMP lockout is unchanged. That's just for hack ability. And Bob hacked stun duration. This is the major one. Has been reduced from 10 seconds down to 3, a 70% decrease for Bob's stun if you hack him as Sombra. So if you're an Ashe player, you're just absolutely loving this change right here. You're just so happy about that. Sombra's stealth no longer is her passive and activates on use of Translocator. That I'm fine with. That makes sense to me. That makes sense in my brain. And it has a 5-second duration. It's no longer permanent. You TP, you get out of there, you're invisible 5 seconds. And you have, next to your reticle, you have a timer for how long you have left, just a duration timer. And if you take damage, you're revealed for 1 second instead of just canceling it. So if you TP, you have your full 5 seconds, you get shot, you're revealed for 1 second, and then you're back invis for another 4. And then EMP cost was increased by 12%, which in a game like Overwatch, that's a lot, but your Sombra, you're going to be generating that real quickly anyways. A lot of damage, a lot of hack potential. And then Translocator, the cooldown for that was increased to 7 seconds, up from 5, so another 2 seconds on that, basically another 50%. And then Opportunist. This is her new passive. Since Stealth is no longer her passive, that's just something that happens when you teleport. Opportunist has been re-added, and it increases her damage. If you are hacked and you're being shot by Sombra, you will now take an extra 20% damage. And if you're Sombra, you can see enemies that are critically low through walls. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with her being able to see me if I'm critical, rather than her just being invisible the entire time. That's kind of annoying. Again, I don't know why my Zen friend is complaining about these changes. I thought that they would have been really excited about this. I feel like the entire Overwatch community, unless you're a Sombra player, is really excited about this. Supports, Baptiste got a few changes. Primary fire reduced by 30%. Brigade repair pack. Cooldown increased from 5 to 5.5 seconds. Not really a change there. You aren't going to be spamming them out that fast anyways, hopefully. I mean, if you're the only support, then yes, you will be. But hopefully you do have a second support alive with you. Now, Juno, this is where the big changes are for supports. The fall-off range has been reduced from 30 to 50 meters down to 20 to 35 meters. So basically, your range is 2/3 of what it was before you started to get that damage fall off. And her healing projectile has been reduced from 6.5 healing down to 6. Again, so much ammo, you aren't really going to notice that. Yes, if you're trying to heal your tank and they're just absolutely feeding face into the enemy team, just tanking all that damage, yeah, you're going to notice it. Yeah, they're probably going to go down now. But I haven't seen this in practice, but on paper, that doesn't sound like it's a massive, massive nerf to her. We are just waiting on game to start. Again, we did win that coin toss. I think we've only lost 2 in both seasons combined, if I'm not mistaken. It is going to be Ilios. Surprise, surprise. Everybody's favorite control map. And yeah, I mean, just looking, because I'm caster, I get to see who we're playing up against, their ranks and stuff like that. I feel like it's going to be a good night. I feel like it's going to be a fun night. And just as a reminder, tonight's game is brought to you by the Owls Media Network, by New Hampshire Army National Guard. Visit nationalguard.com/New Hampshire or call 1-800-GO-GUARD. All right, first game is starting up here. Sorry that took a while. We did have Hot Pocket, our tank, actually crash out there, unfortunately. And we are going to be having our first point being the classic Ilios well. Obviously, if you aren't aware, this is a pinnacle Overwatch map. Not as pinnacle as King's Row probably, but this accursed well, I mean, you just gotta fire or Junkrat, Lucio or Roadhog or anybody with a boot function, that you're just gonna send them down and they're just going to perish. Not really much you can do. And speaking of the boobs, we are going to see Hot Pocket on the Roadhog, Primgo on the Lucio. And I did see somebody point out in chat, calling out for that Hood Nut Genji, and it does look like we are actually going to be getting that tonight, which honestly I'm not complaining about. We love a good Hood Nut Genji. Goofy is going to be on the classic Tracer, and we are going to have Shadow on the Kiriko. Now, if you aren't aware of what Control as the game mode is, it's basically King of the Hill. First team to capture the point to 100% wins the round. Best out of 3 rounds. We are going to see Hood Nut finding that Reaper early. Looking at the rest of the team here. Trying to find damage. Hot Pocket getting weak here. Hood Nut does go down, unfortunately, to the Moira. Tries to get a hook. Does not land, though. Using the heal. Somebody does step in his pig pen. Throws out another trap. Pushes the Orisa into the trap. Pushing out. Kills the Orisa. Trying to stay alive here. Knows the Reaper and the Moira are right there. Using Take a Breather. Trying to stay alive. Just stabilize on the point. Kinsei is starting to get control here. And the enemy Cassidy does find our Tracer, but not before Goofy is able to take down the Moira, one of their supports. We are going to see Hood Nut just climbing up, doing poke damage, trying to build up some ult charge here. Just being a little bit of a nuisance. Tracer going for a bit of a flank here. Just doing some poke damage, trying to be a nuisance, like every Tracer is ever. Does get taken down to 70 health here, which is very low, especially for a Tracer. Hood Nut just dealing some poke damage. Hook does not connect here. Moira Orb being sent out. The damage orb trying to just find anybody. Reaper's backed up into that room. He is alone. He probably used teleport to get out. Orisa gets hooked and thrown into the pit there. A nice, good old well kill. Never going to complain about that. Deflect does come out. Keeps Hood Nut alive. We do see Dragon Blade and Pulse Bomb are out, as well as Kutsune. We are going to have Whole Hog and Beat here very soon, though. Looking at the enemy team, we are going to see a D.Va swap here, probably to just allow her to fly out of the well if she does get in there. And Bosslander on the Cassidy does find Hood Nut, unfortunate. We do have the Bab window going out here. Unfortunately, takes out Hot Pocket. Tracer trying to stay alive now. Kinsei does get the point up to 77%. However, we do lose it, though. Slowly ticking up. Tracer is found by the D.Va, trying to stay alive here. And gets dropped. We do see Hot Pocket has Whole Hog now available for him. We could see a few ults come out here, a few different plays. We do need to try and get some picks, try and get some space. Does land that hook. Emor goes out, but is it going to be enough? Reaper's trying to teleport out of that well, gets dropped back in anyways. Whole Hog going off still. Hood Nut does unfortunately go down to the Coalescence. Take a Breather coming out now, keeping Hot Pocket alive. Looking at that, Moira does almost drop her, but that D.Va defense matrix keeps her alive. And Kinsei is slowly taking back the point right now. Kinsei grabs it. Does land the hook onto the baby D.Va, drops her. We do see both DPS have their ults. Speaking of ults, here comes the Dragon Blade. Looking for anybody. Death Blossom solo onto Hood Nut, does unfortunately kill him. but Reaper does not have his ult here for any pushes that they try and make. Pulse Bomb goes out, finds nobody. Reaper goes down to Goofy. High Noon goes out, finds Crimson. Looking at the Juno now. Juno very weak here. Reminder, Juno does have a fly ability, but is a very squishy character being one of those supports. Full Hug is going out, just trying to push them back, keep them away from point. And as Hot Pocket jumps into the well, Keene State takes the first point.
Score 1-0. Ready for battle.
We should begin.
Now it does look like we are going to get some hero changes here. We are going to see Goofy on the Reaper, Hot Pocket on the Doomfist instead. Opting for a little bit more of a dive comp, especially for the second point. And we are going to see the... Oh, and Hot Pocket switches back to the Hog. We are going to see the enemies have opted for some switches as well. They're going to have a Sigma, as well as an Ashen Tracer now for DPS, and sticking with that Juno bow, adding a Kiriko on top as well. Misses a hook, Trap is out as well. We're not looking for damage, looking for picks. Sigma does have his shield out, shield is dropped now. Goofy looking at the Tracer, 5-star, looking at the Kiriko, drops her as well. Using Wraith to stay alive here, looking at Sigma. Opting to let him live so that they get the stagger onto the enemy team as the rest of his team captures point. We are going to see the Diva and the Moira back now, as well as a Reaper swap off of that Tracer. Goofy just kind of being walked past right now, being allowed to get some free damage onto the enemies. Diva does get demech'd here. Looking at the Reaper, looking at the Juno, just looking at the entire enemy team here. Hoodnut just staying back, trying to get some extra picks. Just trying to find them wherever he can. Almost gets the remech drop onto Goofy. Would have been funny to watch, I'm not going to lie. But, I mean, I can't be biased here. That you also don't want to watch that. Hot Pocket in a little bit of trouble here with the entire enemy team right here. They are triggering his trap. Does manage. Goofy finds 2. Looking for a 3rd. Demechs the Diva. Looking to kill her. And that's a team kill for Keene State. Hook does not land. We do see that we have 3 ults. Looking for a 4th now. Looking for that Lucio ult. Kitsune goes out, popping that blade as well. Does drop the Ashe. Looking for the Moira now. And the Reaper. Diva gets demech'd once again. Beat goes out, just keeping Keene alive. And we take second point in the first game of the night. And it's going to be a Shadow Kiriko play. Absolutely massive damage, massive kills from the entire team there. I mean, we got a well game. I'm not complaining. Well first point as well. We did get a few well kills, hooking the enemy tank in. Just a lot of good plays, so a lot of good kills. And we are going to be right back as we load up for the second game.
that groove, all you got to do is move. Dance with that groove, all you got to do is move. Dance with that groove, all you got to do is move. Dance with that groove, all you got to do is move. Dance with that groove, all you got to do is move.
We're getting ready for next game, and it is going to be Keene's Row for our hybrid map, of course. I mean, I said this last week, has Overwatch and Kiriko are kind of the poster childs for this game. Keene's Row is kind of like the poster map, especially for Overwatch 1. We are going to be starting on defense, as I was told by the head coach, and we are going to see a couple swap-ins. We are going to see Tut in place of Goofy and Midas instead of our tank last game, and I'm suddenly blanking on his name. I don't know why. Hot Pocket. And just as a reminder, we are sponsored by New Car Nissan of Keene, your premier new Nissan and used car dealership near Keene. Discover the new car experience. I mean, Keene's Row. I don't have my co-anchor with me tonight, unfortunately. Keene's Row, a beautiful map. I don't think has ever seen any changes except for seasonal updates. Unfortunately, we are not playing Winter Edition. So sad. It's just an overall well-designed, well-rounded map. It's back when I feel like Overwatch still cared about their map design a little bit, at least. And it does look like we are getting into the game. So for defense last week, I'm trying to think of what we had. We had Widow, Brig, Ana, Arisa, and something else, I believe? I don't know. It's been a week. It's been a long time. So starting on defense, the enemies are going to have to try and go through a first checkpoint over here. They do have to capture the point and then continue to push the payload to the second and then third checkpoint. We can see we are going to have Midas on the Arisa, Hoodnut on the Venture, Tut on the Ash, Crimson Ghost on the Brig, and Shadow on the Ana. And we are going to see the attacking DPS are going to be Ash and Widow, which is kind of interesting. They're both going to be holding that top height, that means. Just trying to get some early picks onto us. Hoping to take some of us out and get an advantage over us. Be able to push in. Tut on the Ash. Does accidentally go down to the enemy Ana. Hoodnut going in, does get stunned. Is tunneling to try and stay alive. The enemy Ana just dropped by Shadow, our Ana. Midas trying to stay alive here, gets dropped down to 170. Does get stunned, trying to stay alive, does get downed. But now showing off that Venture movement. Managing to take height while being burrowed underneath, dropping down onto the objective. Burrowing to just be invincible. Sigma is antied, could try and get him killed. Drop down to 20 health, just trying to stay alive. 42-80. Tut swapping over to the Sojourn now. Opting not to try and take an Ash Ditto. And we do see the enemy Widow swaps to Sojourn as well. Crimson on the Brig, just trying to keep his teammates alive here. Shadow's moving back. But the Venture just staying in this corner on the health pack, waiting for some unsuspecting enemy to walk through. and finds the entire enemy team. Drops the Sojourn. Goes underneath, looking for this Ana now. Finds her. Might see Arisa staying on the point, using just all of his abilities to stay alive and keep the enemies away. Looking at the Sigma now. Very weak, could be dropped. Does manage to just stay alive though, unfortunately. Looking at the ult charges here, we do see Midas, Hoodnut, and Shadow have theirs. Tut is very close as well as Crimson Ghost. The enemy Ana has her ultimate. We do almost have the enemy Sigma ult and Juno ult as well. Speaking of, they're both up. Nano is out on the enemies. Overclock coming out on Tut. Sigma ult coming out as well. Bob ult coming out. Everybody's pressing Q right now. Hoodnut using his ultimate. Just staying alive. Finds the Juno and the Sigma. Managing to stay alive underneath the Bob. And keeps them away from getting third tick. They did swap over to D.Va now. We are going to see Boss Sander swap from the Ashe onto Widow. We do still have a Orisa ult here in case we needed to just get them incredibly weak or dead if they are already weak. And that's staying underneath, trying to stay alive. Keep them away or at least scare them. Enemy overclock goes out, does get dropped by Hoodnut, but Hoodnut goes down to the Juno. Tut on the hate here. Throws out Disruptor, just denying area, trying to stay alive, trying to get kills, trying to build ult. D.Va mech is half. D.Va gets slapped but woken up accidentally. Midas finds the Moira, looking for more. Kills the D.Va mech. D.Va is dead, looking at the Sojourn. Sojourn's dead, looking at the Juno. Juno's dead, looking at the Soldier. Soldier is not dead, but not on point. That's what matters here.
Score 0-0.
Now, while I do like seeing Hoodnut on the Genji, I will say his venture is rather impressive.
Initiating match.
It is absolutely brutal and devastating for the enemies. Now, switching sides here, Keene State is going to be on the attack. That means that we do have to go through this choke here, try and get to third tick or at least 97.5% of capturing first objective.
Ready for battle.
Is possible today. Hey, Q,
Speaking of the Hoodnut Genji, we are going to get him,
No, why?
and we are going to see Tut on the Widow.
leave a paper trail.
I still have much to learn.
Remember when you had a bowl cut?
Yes, you didn't want to be the only one.
I never had one.
I believe I have pictures.
5,
And we are going to see Tut is not going for the usual top angle, is going for an off angle here.
defend objective
Going to try and get some picks. Does not see anybody on height. Kind of just telling his teammates that we are going to see Mei in hotel. But that's being dived by the D.Va. Good deflect. Manages to stay alive with that Winston bubble. Tut just looking for any kills there. Unfortunately, is dropped by the Mei. Mice trying to just get back here. Managing to stay alive, but just barely. Tap back on the Sojourn now. Realizing Widow is not really going to work here. Maywall is going to go up though, kind of blocking team from getting to each other, especially Shadow on the Ana. Pylon does get dropped. Midas leaping back up, trying to stay alive here. Trying to stay alive, 120 health in a bubble in a dream right now. Tut is on point. Diva's just kind of ignoring him right now. Diva Mech is almost dead. Mercy does get the res onto the enemy Ashe. Diva is demeched. Tuz doing his best to kill her and stay alive right now. We are going to see Keene just regroup here. Mercy does pop her ult to try and get that extra mobility, try and get that extra just prevention from us capping. Kasune goes out for Keene State. Putting up on top now, looking at the Ashe. Midas looking at the Diva, pops that Primal Rage. Everybody's pressing Q there, and Keene State takes the second game.
Play of the game.
And that about sums it up for a May. Just constant left click, occasional right click. And you know what? It works. Everybody hates it, but not as much as a Sombra play. And before we go to be right back, just a reminder, we are sponsored tonight by American Steel Fabricators. Visit AmericanSteelFab.com. And we will be back as we get the third game of the night set up. right, and it looks like our third game of the night is starting up here. It is our Flashpoint game of the evening on Suravasa. Honestly, if you don't know how Suravasa or any of the other Flashpoints work, it is basically just control, but there is no cooldown, there is no breaks between rounds. It is first to 3, best of 5, however you want to look at it. Control maps, essentially. Just King of the Hill. And we are going to see some team shake-up here. We are going to see Goofy, Magoob, and Tut on the DPS. Hunna is going to be in place of Crimson Ghost for support on that break. And we were talking with him last week, I believe. He was one-tricking that break all the way up in the ranks, just not giving a care in the world, just practicing for this. And we could definitely see it last week. We are going to see Midas on the Orisa. Feels like this is one of his favorite picks for tank. Tut in the back trying to get some poke damage as the Sojourn. Midas does drop the other Orisa. Looking to get a third pick maybe here. And Keene State captures the point. Now they just need to hold. Tut getting some pre-fire shots in. Looking at the D.Va now. Sending Disruptor out, gain a lot of damage with that. Gain a lot of aerial denial too. Ferris is sending in. Tut does drop the Kiriko. Looks at the D.Va. D.Va mech is dropped. Just letting the enemy team just kind of back up. Letting that D.Va get staggered. Alright, first flashpoint is done. Going on to the second one now. Looking at the ult charges, it's pretty spread across the board for Keene State. Goofy does have Deadeye. We almost have the overclock, almost have Rally. Midas just getting in there, taking damage, but also dealing it out. Overclock does come out from Tut. Does find the enemy Symmetra. D.Va mech trying to break this down. Midas might get it. He does. Goofy, Hoodnut, Tut, everybody's just going after these enemies. Keene State does secure the point. Tut just being very sneaky here. Trying not to get caught. They did not, in fact, know about that. Tut does get a lot of damage there, but because they have Kiriko and Brig, unless he had some help there, there wasn't going to be much to do. Deadeye is going out, does try and get the jab on him, does not find it. Kisune is going out as well now. Everybody's pressing Q here. D.Va is antied. D.Va Bomb is going out now, finds nobody. And Goofy does pull out the Deadeye, but finds nobody with it. And that is everybody's ultimate. Gone. Nobody has an ult now. Tut going on the side here, trying to find some damage while the rest of his team flanks around. Midas trying to get in the middle of it. Tut does get dropped by the Symmetra though. Now Keene State does have 87% on this point. Ferris has 65. Keene State needs to try and get a push, a touch, something to contest or grab this point if they want to take this one. They do find the break. Kiri TP's onto her. There is the Cassidy over here too. Midas trying to stay up. Does not though. Tut might get dropped here as well. And Ferris takes the second point.
Still Maxi Flashpoint ruins.
We are going to see Tut almost with that overclock. Goofy half on the Deadeye. Midas 65 on the Terror Surge. Flashpoint about to unlock here. Midas trying to find an entry for his team. Takes out one of these sentries. Enemy Kitsune coming out and enemy Deadeye. Tut does have his overclock here. Trying to find kills with it, trying to find damage with it. Unfortunately, Midas does go down here. And that's all of Keene State. Ferris State Gold did use a few ults there. I believe we used Nano as well. Did not hear the audio call out for it. D.Va is D-Max. They could try and go for a kill here. Midas, a very good ult if that Symmetra wall wasn't in the way, unfortunately. Does get stunned. Trying to survive here. Unfortunately, is not able to be kept up. Goofy does take out Narvi on the Symmetra. Tut switching over to the Soldier now. Midas on the Zarya now. Interesting pick. I don't think we've seen Midas on the Zarya. Maybe once or twice last season, but definitely not this season so far. Alright, we do see that everybody's opting to go bottom here. Deadeye finds nobody, unfortunately. The nade does get picked. D.Va Bomb does find Goofy, though. Tut trying to drop this Kiriko, trying to drop the support for the enemy tank. But not the break, the usual Genji Venture player here on break. Trying to control this point, trying to command the enemy team back. We do hear the Deadeye coming out. Finds nobody. Kitsune coming out. Goofy is on the Reaper now. D.Va slept. D.Va is awake. Might try and finish her off. D.Va is dropped here. Symmetra is dropped. Kiriko's dropped. Looking for this Cassidy now. And Midas gets the kill there.
Ready for action.
Keene State does have control of this flashpoint for now. That can change at any moment, knowing how fast-paced this game mode is.
Death appears.
Triple anti, the Suzu does come out and get the cleanse, unfortunately. Symmetra wall coming out. Enemy rally as well. Goofy trying to find picks, trying to stay alive at the same time, though. We do have Soldier Visor available. We could see it coming out. We do. Finds one, looking for another. Might find it on the Kiriko. But the Brig finds Tut first. Now this is okay. They did cap the point for the first time for this round, for this match. For whatever you want to call it. We do have Graviton Surge for Zarya. We could see that in combination with the Death Blossom here. But they did decide to Ditto with the Zarya, so those bubbles could be a dangerous play here. Especially with that teleporter active. Goofy on 80 HP. Grav comes out. Goofy with the Blossom finds two. Midas finds a third. Looking at the Brig now, finds a fourth. Going up to the Ashe, trying to finish this off. And the Ashe gets dropped. That's a team kill for Keene, saying we take the second round. This goes to the final one for Flashpoint.
Next, Flashpoint started.
We are going to see some Zarya versus Zarya gameplay right now. Bubble does come out from the enemy. Ashe Dynamite does find his mark. Kisune coming out. Bob goes out as well. We do pop rally. We are pulling back here just to stay alive because Bob can be an absolute menace, especially for Flashpoint when he can contest. They did use a couple ults there. Nice popping bubble here, trying to just take damage to build his damage, build his charge here. And we are just kind of all going to group up here, try and observe, try and take point. Midas trying to find an opening here. Uses one bubble. Pops his other. And he's made his way onto the point now, trying to get any kills he can. Looking at the sentry. Enemy rally going out. He's at 150 health, trying to stay alive. His supports are doing the best that they can. Soldier does drop his heal field. Trying to get the kills onto the enemy. Does find the Symmetra. Drops down to stay alive. He is at 17 health. We might see a Visor come out. We do. Trying to avoid the bubbles. Drops the Kiriko. That's absolutely huge. Dynamite goes out, finds him, unfortunately. Hudna, as a break, charges in, trying to contest, trying to stay alive. Midas in now. We might get the Reaper teleport to contest, and we do not. And that is Ferris State Gold taking the third game of the night. And we are going to see a nice little Reaper play. Just absolutely fiending for these kills. Beautifully done. That is how you play Reaper. Alright, we are going to take a break before our fourth game. It is going to be Push, and as a friendly reminder, we are sponsored by Fenton Family Dealerships, the Tri-State area's best selection of new and pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs, locally owned since 1986. We'll be right back. is everybody's favorite game mode, Push, and we are on New Queen Street. I don't think we've ever actually played New Queen Street for Keene State Esports, at least not on stream. If you are not familiar with what Push is, it's basically, the best way I can put it is reverse tug of war. Both teams are competing to get this robot right here to push this barricade to their checkpoints. If you are able to get it here, you get a nice closer spawn. If you don't, and you are having to push it back, you are actually going to have to, it's more of a fight to push it back once the enemy team has gotten it to first checkpoint, because they do get that closer spawn and you're still spawning all the way back. And no matter what, they're going to be closer to it until you get it back to that midpoint. We are going to see Hot Pocket back on the tank as Doomfist, and we are going to see Hoodnut on the Venture, Crimson Ghost on the Juno. Now this is going to be real interesting. We have seen Push once, and it was on accident. It was simply because we got the rotation out of order. It was supposed to be a Flashpoint, that's the name of it. A Flashpoint game. We are going to see Hoodnut trying to stay alive here. Unfortunately, he goes down. Crimson Ghost on the Juno, trying to keep his teammates up, but deal out that damage. Tut does manage to find the Tracer, doing his best to slide away and stay alive. Unfortunately, goes down, and that Mercy gets the res onto the Tracer. Putting that back onto the Genji now. The good old reliable. Hot Pocket trying to stay alive here. Is being shot by the Tracer and the Orisa. Looking at the robot, does take a lot of damage there. Is looked at by the entire enemy team, it seems like. It does look like we are going to fall back here, wait for our tank. And we do see Ferris State Gold is going to take first objective, or get to first checkpoint. But now looking at the Mercy, does go down for it, unfortunately. Tut does finish the mission, though. Hot Pocket takes down the Cassie. Tut finds the Kiriko as well. Hot Pocket trying to stay alive at 30 health, does not manage to. Hoodnut is back, manages to drop the Orisa as we try and push the spot back to mid. Does try and get a sneaky little peek off, just to see if there's anybody. As Keene State gets it to the middle, gets it back to the original checkpoint. Hoodnut is in there like swimwear, trying to get kills, trying to get damage, build up that ult, looking at the supports, trying to get any picks he can. Does find the Mercy. Looks like he might be able to drop her. Does manage to stay alive there somehow. Hot Pocket in there, opting to Meteor Strike to stay alive. Does go on the roof to just stay out of the way. We are going to see Crimson Ghost using his ultimate. Hot Pocket finding 3. Looking to make it 4. Opting to move back, stay alive, and help his team push a spot. When that does have that Genji blade. Hot Pocket stuns the Orisa out of her ability. Kisune goes out for the enemy team. Hot Pocket finds the Mercy. That's both supports dead for Ferris Gold. Looking at the Orisa now. Are they able to drop her? The answer is yes. Hoodnut used his ult. Managed to only get 1 kill with it, but that was onto the Tracer, who does have Pulse Bomb, and that could have been devastating here. So finds the Tracer, looking at the Cassidy, looking at the Kiriko, just looking at everybody right now. Pulling out the deflect. Hot Pocket goes down. Unfortunate. But Keene is still pushing this. Opting to back off here now to stay alive. Genji just staying alive. D.Va is incredibly weak. Does get Suzu though. Going up, looking at the Cassidy, looking at the Kiriko. Does get hindered. Trying to stay alive. Doing absolute work here. We do see Huna on that 10-player kill streak. Looking at D.Va, trying to make it 11, it seems. D.Va is D-maxed now. And manages to dash into the Kiriko. Kills the Cassidy while he has Deadeye. And Keene State takes the night. And it's going to be a tough play. Oh, just absolutely sniping that Cassidy. All right, we are going to take a little break here, see who was wanting to do some post-game interviews. Before we do, though, thanks to the Mellison Company, commercial and residential roofing since 1932, who is a sponsor of tonight's game. Bit. Oh. Welcome back. We have first interview of the night. New rookie player this season. We got Goofy McGoob. A very good addition, I'd say. We definitely needed that Tracer player.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely needed that Cassidy player too. How does it feel being on the team?
It's really fun. I really like the team play. I've always been interested in like Overwatch Esports, and it's been kind of like I've always wanted to have a full team to be able to have like comms with and like
actually
competitive.
synergize
It's
with.
fun. It's a lot of fun. I have a lot of fun, and everybody on the team is really nice. get along with them a lot, so it's great.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely wonderful to hear. I mean, I'm a little biased because I've been here since the start. So, great people. You guys have been absolutely decimating the season. How does that feel?
It feels great. It feels great. I mean, honestly, yeah, just we keep winning. That's how I'm
just
looking
keep
at it
winning
right
that
now.
coin toss.
Yeah, it's true. that has been great. It has been great. Ilios map 1 has been
Absolutely
definitely
wonderful. Getting those well kills.
Oh yeah. Shay on the Roadhog pulling people in.
Beautiful.
It's crazy. It's insane.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
After tonight, how are you guys feeling, like, as a team, as an individual, as a player?
As a team, I think we feel pretty good. We did have our first map loss of the season, unfortunately.
Bound to happen.
Oh yeah, but I mean, it was a close game. It was definitely a very close game.
Oh yeah.
But I think we're still feeling great. Like that hold we had on King Grove was insane. When we took back.
I'm surprised they did not get their tech. No shame on you guys, but that 97.5, that was like, ooh.
Oh yeah, it was a very interesting match to watch. It was very fun.
I mean, me personally, I wouldn't have been opposed to seeing the hybrid portion of that, but I mean.
Hey, you know what? We have yet to see it so far.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I keep telling people it's like push, but also control, and then we only ever see the control portion. But like, it's whatever. We keep winning. I'm fine with it.
It's great.
How do you feel like you guys are gonna keep going? Like, do you feel like you're gonna be able to take this series?
I think so. I think we're doing great. I think we definitely have what it takes to take the series, take it all. Honestly, yeah.
Where do you feel like your guys' struggles were tonight?
I do feel like our struggles definitely mainly happened with their more brawl characters, specifically like May or Symmetra and Saravasa. Those sim walls that the other team had were really the fight
on
changers.
those Terra Surges.
But yeah, we definitely have to look on Saravasa. That's definitely one of our weaker maps. New Junk City, one of our greatest ones. We didn't get to play it tonight, but
Unfortunate.
Saravasa is definitely one we got to look at in terms of how to play the map. But we're getting there.
Yeah. There's always going to be that learning curve, no matter what.
Oh yeah.
All right, well,
Awesome.
it's great having you.
Yeah, it's nice
Keep
being here.
Keep crushing it.
Thank you.
All right, second interviewee is here. It is Jack, better known as Crimgo or Crimson Ghost. How are you feeling tonight?
I'm feeling great. We're doing a really good job. 3-0.
I mean, it's beautiful to see. It's beautiful. I mean, coming from last season, I'm just going to blame that as first season jurors. That's all. I'm going to blame it on that. But you guys are absolutely crushing it this season. Not to jinx you or anything, but like what I've been seeing as caster, what I've been seeing from everybody has been just absolute immense improvements. I mean, let's talk about Hoodnut.
Oh, yeah.
On that support, how do you feel about Hoodnut on support this season?
You know, at first I was a little sad that I, got kicked out one game, but seeing him on the brig, he's really good, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah, I mean, I got to chat with him last week about how he's feeling about filling in that role, forgetting that he is a support character sometimes, and just like he is that dive Genji. I mean, obviously there's that learning curve. What do you feel as one of the main supports for our team that he could be doing better? No shame on him, obviously.
Well, it's kind of hard to say because he did solo queue break to Masters, but
like a true Chad.
honestly, not much. Like, he's really good at keeping that Inspire up. He's really good at, managing his health back. So, honestly, I wouldn't have too many notes myself for him.
All right. I mean, I'll take that as we're going to win the series then.
You should.
Now, we did lose our first match of the series. How are you feeling about that?
It's the first loss. It's going to happen.
It's bound. It's bound to.
We could definitely look back at it and see what we could do to improve, like, what we did that might have got us wrong, or, like, made us lose that map and all that. But losing is okay because then we can learn and become even better. So
if you don't lose, you're just going to be stuck doing what you're doing, never going to improve, right?
Yep, pretty much.
Now, I'm going to ask you the same thing that I just asked Goofy. What do you feel went wrong? What do you think you could do better after that loss? You had said that just not being used to those brawl characters. And I mean, I can kind of see that you guys are usually facing against like more densely packed tank comps or dive comps.
I would definitely say that, yes. The map itself, too, was not one of our strongest. We're definitely more of a New York City.
I feel like everybody is. It's just the better map. No bias.
Yep, no, just like little things. Like, I think there was just a few moments where maybe we popped one too many ults or not, enough.
Or not enough. I mean,
It's
a million different things, right?
Little stuff that we can improve on and make sure we do better. That's all.
Yeah. After tonight, what do you feel like you as a team have to do moving forward?
Good question. Maybe just practice a few more of the maps, because we do play mostly the same maps. Like, we always do the Ilios, the King's Row, but maybe just throwing in a few more of those
Spice
other
it
maps
up a
just
bit.
to, make sure we're prepared for that.
Yeah.
That's what I would say, honestly.
All right. I mean, sounds good to me. I mean, I'd love to see some new maps. I love seeing the ones we got. Love that Ilios. Love that King's Row.
Oh,
but
yeah.
like,
Ilias is my favorite as a Lucia player,
ooh. Oh yeah, of course. Of course. You're a little biased. I'm a Junkrat player, so am I. All right. It's wonderful having you.
All right, thank you.
Keep
But
it up.
before we go, I just want to plug Valorant on Fridays at 7 p.m. Be there.
Yeah, please. All right, that is going to be it from me tonight. Next week, Overwatch, Wednesday, 7 p.m. EST. Don't know who we're up against. We are 3-0, though. Love to see it. Valorant, once again, this Friday, 7 p.m. EST. Please, please, please come watch. We had people begging for a team. We have one now. Go support it. Speaking of support, love to shout out Fieldstone Land Consultants, a professional engineering, land surveying, and environmental service company serving New Hampshire, Massachusetts, Vermont, and Maine, as well as Solvin Tire, located on Winchester Street in Keene. We are always here to get you there. We love our sponsors. Thank you. I couldn't be doing what I'm doing without them. And, I mean, just keep watching the stream. Keep supporting us this way, too. So, yeah, I mean, that's it. Hopefully, Morgan will be back co-casting with me next week. Again, Wednesday, 7 p.m. We are now 3-0. Yeah, that's it from me. Have a good one.